G'day, guys. Welcome back to Supercoach with DR and welcome to the round 4 review. Hope you all had a rip of a week. Look, mate, did have a great week, but it didn't involve watching a lot of footy. So just been super busy the last few days. It's more been, in and out of games, sneak a bit of KO when I can. Watched a couple of full games, but just been all over the shop lately. So started off, had to take didn't have to, but really enjoyed take my boys to the NBA exhibition, the Docklands. That was pretty cool. Then they both obviously played footy this week. Swanee was up at King Lake, so my boys played against King Lake. Saw Swanee up there, so that was pretty cool for them. If anyone follows me on X/Twitter, whatever you call it these days, you would have seen me with a tiara on. I did attend my beautiful little niece's princess party as well, and I said that, and I put a tweet out, hopefully the tiara gives me a little bit of luck with my Captain Heaney, 150 plus, please. And didn't that deliver? So I think from now on, whenever I am watching whoever my captain is, I'm going to get the tiara out. So a bit of a move or a bit of a superstition possibly now on from me. And then today even had the Castlemaine swap meet. So been literally walking around for about 5-6 hours around this oval and in little nooks and crannies where the bargains are. And so my legs are stuffed, my back's stuffed. And of course, when we get home, Maxie wants to play footy. So I was at the footy over for about an hour and a half. So I'm absolutely buggered now, but I want to smash out this round review because hopefully I can catch up on a few games that I actually missed to do some research for the stocky. If not, I'll pretty much have to go by the numbers, ask a few members of the community what actually happened with particular players and go from there. But for the round review or for the round this week, everything just really seemed to click for me. 23-7-2 have been waiting for this. All of a sudden ranked in the top 2%. That round scores in the top 1%. So 8-4-7-1. Pretty happy because I did take a look back at my history from last year, 2023. At this stage in the season, I was ranked 60,000 something. So I managed to finish just outside the top 2,000. So I think that's a 1% rank. So for anyone that is struggling at the moment, you can come back. You can come back. But I've been really embarrassed lately about some of the trades that I've made. It's been through the aggressive approach. And look, I only have myself to blame. But with particular players, and I'm very much come from the old school traditional Supercoach type player. So for the blokes that you look to trade out, who I have, like your Martins, your Hayden Youngs, you traditionally keep faith, and I would normally keep faith with those sort of fellas if we go back to those limited trades. But I think that I've got I'm not going to call it fantasy mode. I don't want to be disrespectful to fantasy, but I've just gotten that aggressive mindset, and I think I've suffered because of that. But my trades this week were really beneficial and actually got me 181 extra points, or I think that's the maths. I may be a little bit off there. Just did that off the top of my head pre-podcast. But yeah, I did use a boost though. So that's the issue here. I'm now 3 boosts down, but the trades for this week were out. Jack Billings, the man just had to go, actually lost money this week. James Jordan, originally I was going to keep on to him, but I thought, nah, JJ, you've got a buy coming up. So I need to make a couple of moves here. You're gone, mate. Nolly Wine. So I was actually going to keep him, but I decided, well, 1 week. I don't believe in a 1 week hammy. He's got to go. So out went Ollie, but in came, and I fielded all 3. In came Sam Darcy, which is really good. I got Sam Flanders into the forward line. Really solid move there, I think. And the other bloke I got in was Jack, the Man of Steel. So we'll talk about him. We'll have a quick look at how the team's going. Then we'll talk what trades I'm looking to make, talk about my captains, and then I also want to give a couple of leagues some shout outs as well, because we've got a couple in the top 20. I think one's 5th, 12th, and 25th. So I'll quickly shout out those legends. And then we'll also take a look at the leaderboard for the DR $100 Open League. And pretty tight at the top. We've got some great coaches there. So that is it for the intro, guys. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so we'll start off in defense, and Luke Ryan 111. Really happy with this selection. Unfortunately, the man that I traded out for him was Hayden Young, who's caught fire all of a sudden. So that's a little bit of a tough watch, but at the same time, I think he's so safe for a top 3 average in defenders this year. So lock in Luke Ryan. Still happy with the move, but damn, Hayden Young. Do you look to trade him back in? Who knows? Looking really nice at this stage. Talk about looking really good. Harry Sheasel, 124, just super consistent, 123.8 for an average. So it's basically spot on there. And I think he's just going to continue to do it week upon week. So one of those blokes where if you don't have him, I think whenever you can, just jump on the man because, as I said, really, really consistent. It doesn't look like he's going to put in one of those real stinkers. So jump on Harry anytime you want. Really happy with that selection, though. Dacos 102. Now, do we celebrate this score? I think it's a bit of a, it's just an okay type score. Now, for those of us that held this pick, would be feeling a little bit indifferent. It depends how you feel about it. For the blokes that maybe got rid of Dacos and ladies that got rid of Dacos, you'd probably be pretty happy at this stage. If you didn't start Dacos like I was playing on all preseason, you would absolutely be over the moon. But with the Finn McGuinness tag, we thought, geez, there could even be a 70 type score on the cards here. But the fact that he got to 102, did basically bugger all in the last quarter, I think that we still take that. So now that that really low score is going to be out of your system, I think that this is looking up again. And we don't need to trade him back in, those of us that held him. But those of you that didn't, that's fine. You've hopefully invested the money elsewhere. So good move there. Well done. D'Ambrosio. Now, my goodness, this man. Fantasy Freako put a tweet out, and I think it was something ridiculous. I think it was 20 plus minutes on the bench in the final term. I have no idea what's going on here, but have they just lost faith in him? Was there something wrong with him? Surely you just don't do that to a player. There's got to be a reason behind it. I want to know what that reason is, but come on. Damn, this one hurt and really killed my projection of going anywhere near the 2,400 mark. I can't complain with the score this week, but I can complain with his tog. That was just ridiculous. So, look, he hasn't gone overly well since I've traded him in, but it is what it is. Better than, some of the rookies and what they're dishing out at the moment anyway. Zach Williams with an 81. Look, this has been his best game of the year. Now, I have been told that there was an injury symbol on fan footy next to his name, so I'm not exactly sure about that, but remember he did come in the last quarter, that really nice long kick inside 50, which really set them up to win the game, didn't it? It wasn't a game-winning goal, but it really did set them up, took the game on. So, look, I'm not concerned with him if he isn't injured, but if he is, we are always concerned because his durability is not wonderful at all. So don't know what it is, whether it's a little bit of an eagle, whether or not he's okay or not, but I'll be certainly listening out for any news there on Zaki. But yeah, 81, that's all good. He'll make a little bit of cash, bit of a slow burn, but all good. Red didn't play. Howes, this was looking like an absolute disaster at one stage, but managed to scramble his way to a 46. Now, his break even this week is 56. So if you want to get rid of him, I think that you can. We're going to actually break the rule in the stock market this week and talk about some of these Gold Coast blokes, because there is one fella that absolutely put his hand up and possibly one to go on early if you really want to take the risk. But we'll talk about that in the stocky. But Howes could be one of those guys that you do look to move on, or else you could simply look to correct a rookie. But going early is always risky, but there is a little bit of carnage down there anyway. So Howes with the 46, disappointing. But look, if you trade in a Draper, I know a couple of people that, and sorry to bring this up, guys, but that traded in Draper because they didn't want to take this score of a 46, and that ended up in an absolute disaster. However, if you did that same move and you got in Brown, then you would be absolutely wrapped and through the roof. A big miss from me, but it is what it is. You can't have them all. But yeah, a little bit concerning with these two. But again, we're coming into a best 18 round, so that does certainly alleviate those concerns in the short term for me anyway. Onto the midfield now. So, and we'll show you what the forward line looks like as well. There we go. I've got to go nice and slow because it's very, very touchy, this thing. So the Bont with a 141. The man is back after a slightly, very disappointing, let's be honest, 110 captain score last week. And it wasn't his fault. I'm not blaming Bont. I'm just saying that the score wasn't fantastic when you get the big C on it. But he was back to his best, this man. Look fit, look firing, disposals everywhere, did the tough stuff as you'd expect from him. So I just absolutely love this man and should be really in your captaincy options each and every week, as long as he's fit. And even if he's 90% fit, you probably still go there as well, because he's an absolute animal, the Bont. Love the Bont. Now, slightly disappointing from the Green Machine, 109. But what we do have to keep in mind with this pick is the fact that he did start off playing against some really easy opposition. So those big monster ceiling games, well, originally that's why I was starting him. I was looking to flip him In the end, I just thought, well, you can't flip him because he's an absolute must-have in your midfield. So didn't go through with the move, but I really did like that early fixture. So I think we may have to temper our expectations a little bit. A 109 is still fine, but I know a lot of people that did pay up to bring him into their side this week that missed out on starting him. You've obviously paid up a little bit more for him, but at least he's just locked in now. I think that's all good. You'll still be really happy to own Tom Green. Butters with a 119. Again, a little bit of an indifferent game from him. Now, some people had the VC, which is a really awkward type score. Some people had the captaincy on him. We didn't certainly see a ceiling game. I was originally having the VC on him, Captain Tahini, but after seeing what people are doing, other players were doing on this particular oval, I thought Jack Steele's going to get 25 tackles, get a ton of the ball. So I'll actually go Heaney into Steele. Didn't need to use Steele, but we'll talk about Heaney in a little bit. We will talk about Steele now. It was a couple of weeks ago, and after the first quarter of the game, I said to myself, and we were in the members chat, I said, boys, this bloke is going to be a must-have, I think. I really, really do. Got the eye test again and really wanted to bring him in last week. Week before, but I just couldn't. I had other priorities. But given the fact that I had that boost up my sleeve, well, still got a couple left, but I thought, let's just bring him in. I think he's going to play really well on this oval, all the rest. And didn't he deliver? He does look like the Steele of old. And that's why I was so keen to bring him in and actually use a boost on him. He's just back to his best. And look, people may say that this ground really suited him, the opposition. Absolutely it did. But that's why we're bringing him in. Now, Spiels and I were really, really hot on Steele over Took in the Swordplay potty, and it is only a week, so not counting all your chickens yet. But I tell you what, didn't he just look fantastic? We said that he was the number one man, and that's probably why we preferred Steele over Took, because he's simply the number one man in that midfield, whereas Took has a fair bit of competition there. But at the end of the day, Took will still be fine, but 142, what a time to bring him in. His best score of the season, and I think he can certainly finish in the top 8 averaging midfielders. I see no reason why he can't. And to see a ceiling game like a 142, that's really nice. Hopefully we can expect some more as well. So, yeah, great Jack Steele, great trading. Matty Roberts, 80. This guy is an absolute cash king. So he's at 335. I think he started around the 150 mark from memory. So he's made around 180K. He'll continue to make more. So there is no way on earth I think you should be trading him this week. Some people may say, look, he's on the buy, let's just get rid of him, but absolutely keep on to him. He'll continue to make cash. Just leave him on field. He's going to get DPP. If your backline's a little bit weak and you're not interested in any defensive rookies, I think you should be interested in one particular guy that will be on the bubble the week after. You can certainly go there. But, yeah, love Matty Roberts as a pick. McKercher, certainly a little bit quieter this week, a bit of a different role, which was flagged by a couple of people. They did mention that to me. Forget who it was, but shout out to you guys before the game. But 54, this is all good. McKercher's going to be fine as a pick. I'm not worried about him. Sanders with an 82. Bevoed again. Now, I can't remember off the top of my head what his tog was, but I think it was in the 50s, high 50s from memory. Might have been early 60s at best. What are you doing, Bevo? Like, seriously, what are you doing, man? I don't get it. He's got a much better tank than that, and he was robbed of a triple figure score here. We're not complaining with an 82, but what could have been, excuse me, it's just Bevo just. Spills had a rant in the potty last week, so I'm not going to go into Bevo. I think we all share the same thoughts basically with him. Harley Reid, 91. Now, when I say lots, I know a few people that did trade him out this week. And look, he wasn't looking really fantastic, but if he kept the faith like many people did, he gave us his best score of the season with a 91. Looked a lot better, particularly on the eye. So that break even is going to go down again. What are we? Because it wasn't looking great after this week, but all of a sudden, yeah, there we go, 12. So that's fantastic. Got 8 there from Sanders. 43. That's still very, very doable from McKercher. And then we got a 14 from Roberts there. So everything's looking pretty rosy. Berry I did decide to keep simply because I thought, well, even if he's a sub and he delivers a 30 or a 40, and there's always a chance that there's an early injury, not that you wish that, but there's a chance he comes on early, sorry. He's still going to make some coins. So what did he, 243. So look, he's made a little bit there. The only thing I really didn't take into account is the fact that now his break-even's at 54, and if he's a sub, he's most likely going to lose cash. So that's not fantastic, but it is what it is. Could make a move this week. We'll see what happens there. Now, Darcy Wilson, I'll tell you what, I don't ever have a crack at champion data or anything like that. Maybe a lighthearted one here and there. This is a disgrace. This is a disgrace, and it's very, very controversial because the bloke got 3 points for an act that, in my opinion, Supercoach is all about rewarding. So, there are a couple of minutes to go. You all know that the play that I'm talking about. Great rundown tackle, holding the ball free for really, really crucial time of the game, in his defensive 50. Push back well, and then long effective disposal. I thought, here we go, licking my lips. He's going to get up to a 70 type score here. So let's go through that again. So we've got an effective tackle. We've got a holding the ball free for. So free kick for, effective tackle, and effective disposal, a long kick down the line. How on earth he gets 3 points for that is absolutely beyond me. Now, as I mentioned before, Supercoach is a game where with their scaling, you reward the big plays in the crucial moments. We've all seen players, and I'm not comparing this act to this particular act, but we've seen players kick the winning goal close to the siren or after the siren, and the scaling is just phenomenal. Now, I'm not comparing the two acts, but 3 points, even if the game was even a blowout, surely there's a little bit more meat on the bone than 3 points for that. But given the fact the game was so tight, I just think that this is absolute highway robbery. So I would love an explanation. I'd love a breakdown with the Wilson pick. And I know that it's all about the secret herbs and spices, and you can never predict what scaling someone's going to get for an important act during a particular point in time. But 3 points, I guarantee it should be more than that. It should be a lot more than that. So he was ripped off of at least a 70 here. I'm saying even a 75. We're going that big. It was such a big play, in my opinion. Maybe owner's bias, but yeah, I'm a little bit shattered with this one. Super disappointed because, as you can see, I don't have Jeremy Sharp. I don't have your Carrolls. I don't have your Dempseys. So I'm really relying on someone like a Wilson to give me some cash gen. And with that 25, I think it was last week, still in his system, it's going to be a slow burn. I want some rapid cash growth, and I need every point that I can get. And the fact that he didn't, I've had a big rant. Sorry, I know, but I just, I don't get it. But it is what it is, and we deal with it. Clark with a 28. Now, this was super frustrating because I reckon about 10 minutes into the second quarter, he was on 31. Then he gave away 2 free kicks, went completely missing, low tog again, and then gets subbed out. So a disaster. If you've got Sharp over Clark, then you are just absolutely flying over me. So his break even, he's only 11, so it's not a disaster. He's going to make a little bit more coin, but as his stars are subbed, does he get dropped? I'm really not too sure. But yeah, it hurts a little bit. Not a nightmare, but it is when you compare other players that I don't actually have there. But I've got him, and it is what it is, as I said. Into the rucks, Maxi Gorn. This bloke has been absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely smashing non-owners this year. Whoever else you went with over Max Gorn, you are losing out big time because he's clearly, for me at the moment, R1. And that's just not by the average, just by what he's actually doing, by the eye as well. He is dominating. So another 129. For those of you that put the VC on him, great move. You take a 129 every day of the week, in my opinion. If you did risk it and chuck it on someone like a Heaney, then well done. Well done. Kudos to you. What a big move it was. And yeah, it paid off. A huge risk, but a big move that did pay off. So well done there. Grundy, I think the bloke's got to go. Now, let's be honest. The week, he's so up and down. Like the week before, I was sitting here with the round review going, look, could he be keeper for a little bit more? If he smashes it and goes like a 130 plus type score against West Coast, which I do expect, it's going to be awkward because his break even goes down again, even lower. Right? Yeah. But with a 93 against, no disrespect, Jimmy Doherty, no disrespect to your mob, but come on, with a 93 against those blokes, you're kidding yourself, aren't you, Brody? So there's going to be moves made this week. He's going to be a very, very popular trade out. We know that he's got the buy. His average is 103.2. Remember, that first game didn't actually count for his scoring, but it did for his price. So we are lucky there in a way, but break even's 83. So he's probably not going to lose cash. He'll probably just hover around the price for a little bit, but I think it's probably time to move him on. I'm very keen to move Brody on. But yeah, we'll talk about my trades in a sec. Now, this bloke, Isaac Heaney, I thought it was a big call, saying that he'd win the Brownlow after one round of football and that he'd been the top 10 for averages out of all players halfway through the season. I think it might have said round 16. I'm not too sure. Up until his bye, maybe. It was what I thought was a big call. But wow, I don't even know what to say about the bloke. And he's just, the Brownlow is absolutely his. The Brownlow is his. Taylor Adams came back into the side, did not affect this man whatsoever. As you can see, kicked goals, impacted the scoreboard, did absolutely everything. Now, the issue was I didn't actually get to watch this game. I was wearing the tiara, though, enjoying some lovely food and some great company at the Princess Party. It was a little bit of carnage. I did put a video out when I lost the balloon. And yeah, I did mention that I'm not the most popular uncle anymore after that. But yeah, a little bit of carnage here at the Princess Party. But that's the only disappointment for me, is that I didn't get to watch this man in action. But I've heard all about it. I'm actually going to go back if I've got time and at least view some highlights. So yeah, what a man he is. If you don't have him, if you didn't start him, you're hurting so much at the moment. Rocketing to 700k, this man, just phenomenal. Now, Dogger, this is an interesting one of 91. Now, if I actually had the guts, I'd dead set trade him this week, because look at his break even with 152, and that's going to be big the week after as well, depending on what his projections, what he actually scores. We're not too sure about this, but it's been mooted that Darcy's back. It's also been said that they're going to share the ruck split 50-50, but if he's only given us, a low 90 score as a solo ruck there, the week before again wasn't fantastic either, then what's going to happen with a 50-50 split? He's actually going down there, playing Port, who are a decent side. Maybe given the fact he'll be lining up more against their second ruck, then that could be a slight advantage. Who knows? He's playing West Coast the week after as well. Even as a key forward, that could be a nice game for him. In the ruck 50-50 split, still fantastic matchup for him as well. But this, in my opinion, could very well be his peak price point. Excuse me. Now, even from here, I think that he's got the chance to be a top 6 averaging forward. And I say from here, so let's forget what he's averaged so far. I'm saying from this point in time, there's not a lot of blokes that are actually really putting their hand up saying, pick me, lock me in for a top 6. You got Zorko is probably next on the list too. I'm just going absolutely nowhere near with his age. Love the role, love the skill. When he's on, but just age, I just wouldn't go there with durability concerns. So it's a tough one. If I hadn't have used a boost, I may actually have the guts to make this move, but I think he's going to be actually an important player for me this week in a slightly risky move that I may be looking to make anyway. Flanders was the other trade in I made this week, along with Jack Steele. And what a man he is. Now, I didn't realise that I was actually purchasing a half-backer here. So a massive role change for Sam Flanders, absolutely out of the blue. I did not see this coming. Maybe the death of Alex Sexton as a pick, so maybe one that we look to move on. Not even really decent as a loop with buys and all the rest. But look, we'll talk about Sexton very quickly in a sec. Back to Flanders, though. What a role it is. So it's either going to be, it looks like, that midfield role or that halfback role. And the great thing was that he was actually starting back and really pushing hard into stoppages as well and impacting there. So I think this is absolutely perfect. And the reason why I moved Jordan on, originally I wasn't going to make the move to actually trade Jordan, but I compared and I thought, look, with my projections, what Jordan's actually going to score compared to someone like a Flanders, I'm actually going to premium here, hopefully a much, much better score. And I think that Flanders will actually make more money, same as someone like a Jack Steele. So really solid move there in the end. And he should be an absolute lock beyond locks for a top 6 forward average, top 3, top 2, you sort of name it. I don't think he's going past Isaac, but I think Isaac's really his only competition for the number 2 spot or number 1 spot anyway. Tom Powell. Now, I'm not going to rant because I'm going to leave this one probably for the sword play, and I will touch on Wilson. Don't you worry about that as well. But again, when it comes to Supercoach scoring, you really do scratch your head sometimes. All I'll quickly say, and if you don't follow this bloke on X, the great Jaden Popovsky, sorry if I butchered your name there, mate. He did confirm this to the eye. This score was right off. The bloke had like 14, 15 tackles, something ridiculous like that. And those alone, I thought, should have gotten him basically what he scored here. But even with Jaden's scoring system, which is usually extremely accurate, he said absolute blowout was his question. He thinks he should have been scored at least, at minimum, an extra 6 points. So, yeah, super disappointing there. Sorry, you can't even see the score. Apologise. So 91, 125 for Jackson and Flinders, only a 73. So that should have been at least closer to an 80. The issue here is that bloke just was not finding the ball. He was tackling super well though. So I'm pretty sure that he keeps that midfield role, but it is slightly concerning the fact that he just didn't get his hands on it. Weeks prior though, he's had no trouble. So I'm all good with that. And in the third quarter, he did match up on Lockie Neal and try to keep him quiet. So I'm still really okay with the power pick, but just really disappointed, very, very frustrated that he was only scored a 73. You'd love a please explain. It's not worth asking though. And I'm not going to get too bitter over a free game that we all enjoy, but champion data, I would just please give us an explanation why Wilson only gets 3 points for that and Powers at a 73 for his stat line. Just we're not going to get it, but I'd love it. Talk about love. Talk about what I love. 5 his life. He is back now after 100 in, what was it, round zero? No, not round zero, round 1. He went 69-69, and then he's turned up again here, 102. What a man he is. If you trade him out, and he was initially, well, I was contemplating having him in my trade plans as well, but decided to keep the man, and what a reward it was. So all of a sudden, he's had that 100, and his break evens in the 20s. So with the 77, he's making 23K. Magnificent. Now, we're not expecting hundreds every week, but if you can throw it in every 3 weeks, that's what we need to keep him making money. And I'll be pretty happy with that, to be quite honest. So if you look at the forward line setup that I've got at the moment, I don't think you're really getting much better up until this point. Maybe you've got, I don't know, like a McKay, a Flanders. I think Zorko is actually the next man you'd probably have here. But Heaney, Jackson, Flanders, and Powell, I think is a super solid forward line for now. We'll see what happens with Jacko in a minute. 5, yeah, again, okay. Sexton, I think, could be a dead pick. I think he could be a bit of a Charlie Constable. Now, I'm pretty sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you need to play 3 games in order to achieve your DPP status. He's done that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll get that defensive forward status, which may be handy. It's a bit of a loophole if you really want to go there. Others will just want to move him on because you've got other blokes that are going to be making money while he's sitting there stone cold. And you really don't need a loophole, given the fact that we've got buys coming up in the next 2 weeks. Although, depending on who you've got, you may not have any loopholes. So that may come into play. But yeah, you may probably look to move Sexton on. His break even is still low, though, isn't it? Yeah, so very, very low. One of those ones where it's a little bit awkward at the moment. So Cadman's break even's low, and we'll get to Darcy. So Cadders, what's he got up to? 240K. He's been a really successful rookie as well. Only the 50 points. So he was looking a lot better early, but just not his game. Did really well the couple of weeks prior to this. But again, we're expecting this tougher opposition. I'm not saying that the Suns are anything absolutely fantastic, but didn't they give them a run for their money? Well done, Gold Coast. Big fan of the Suns, but Cadders just doing his job at the moment. And Darcy, 84. So the awkward thing I had here with the Heen Dog as vice captain was the fact that I needed Sexton as that loop because obviously Livingston was earlier and I didn't go with Butters as a VC, went with Heaney, was that I had to take Darcy's score here, committing to the Heaney VC score. And 84, again, robbed of another 100 plus. Like, come on, Bevo. What are you doing to the bloke? 50-something Tog. And did you notice that every time he came onto the ground, he had an impact, did something really, really nice, and you thought, here we go. Like, this bloke is just going to be an elite, beyond elite possibly, player of the comp. And then you think, well, where's he gone? And then you look to the app, whatever app you're using, and you see the bench symbol, and you're like, just stuff you, Bevo. I'm not ranting on Bevo. We've done too much of that. But even getting Bevoed, he punches out an 84. If you had him on field, just magnificent. So really, when it comes to the side this week, and I'm not trying to big head myself, but because I'll own my mistakes. I made plenty so far, but I couldn't have really done much more right. So you bring in Darcy, bring in Flanders, and bring in Steele, get rid of Billings, Jordan, and Wines, who's obviously injured at the moment. And then you've got Darcy coming on here, so I didn't lose the rookie roulette there. Over here, pretty obvious choices, I know, but the only thing I lost out on was a 58 over a 54, so I lost 4 points there. But really, are we going to field Wilson over McKerchup? I don't think so. If you're half same with your super coach, although you may know something that I don't, so kudos to you if you did do it. And then obviously absolutely nailed that Heaney captain pick. So overall, really, really happy for the week. So let's talk trades. I hate this. All right. I've got 79,800. I'm going to actually zoom out a little bit here. The reason why I did zoom in there as well is I had a couple of comments that the team's a little bit small and it's hard to see. So apologies for that. I've tried to fix that a little bit for you, Zim. All right. I'll also, so you can see those games there, the order. All right. So what do we do here? What do we do? We've got Sydney and Collingwood on the bye this week. So very, very quickly, we don't need to do this with Reed this week. So we'll just get Howes on there. I'll quickly fix up the team. Sorry. So Roberts will use as a loop. Obviously, you've got Wilson, Clark. So Wilson, yep, that's fine. Grundy, I don't even really need to use that because I've just got Dacos. So let's chuck him on anyway. And what can I do here? I can actually, oh no, I've got Heaney there. So Bulldogs play before Giants. So I think we just do that. And take the captaincy off him. We'll just chuck it on Mr. Dacos for now. All right, so that's how the team's looking. All right, so we've got almost 80K. Where do we need to upgrade? So let's talk about who we are and we aren't trading out. We go back to these break-evens. So you got Ryan scheduled, Dacos, who I'm obviously keeping. D'Ambrosio, I reckon he may only have a couple of weeks left, but definitely staying for now along with Williams. Hopefully he's not injured. I'll need to hear news on that. Howes is a big one. Now, obviously the rookie I was referring to earlier that you may want to go early on, excuse me, the voice is absolutely going, is Closey. Clousey. I'm butchering it, but Sammy Boy. I think he's our saviour. He is our saviour. And if you're ever going early, I think it may be okay, but it's always such a risk, isn't it? But I think Howes to Clousey could be a pretty solid move if you wanted to go there. So Howes with that break even of 56, it's achievable. If you look at his games the last couple of weeks, you probably don't think it would be, but it still is if you look at his overall average there. 223. So yeah, you're making basically 123K on that trade. So that's certainly an option that you've got there. Hall with your 148, you could look to get him or just correct a readout if you've got a Caulfield, maybe. So Howes out for me could be an option. Green Bomb, but still we're doing nothing with, along with Roberts, McKercher, Sanders, keeping Reed. Wilson stays. Clark, he's got a little bit more to make with that break-even of 11. Berry is the other one here. So concern with Berry, given the fact he's got a break-even of 54. If he is named this week for some reason and doesn't start as a sub, I'll probably just hold on to him. Keeping in mind, I'm expecting that he may get subbed out anyway, but hopefully he can at least get to a 54 and just keep Price for a week. Just let me sort of stay above water with the pick for now. But he'll definitely have to go without a shadow of a doubt, I think. And Clark and Wilson will probably stay. So you've got maybe a Howes or a Berry if you're looking to make some coin, or just possibly correct a read. Gorn and Grundy. So Grundy's probably the big one for me this week, who I think has to go. And then look here, you look at Heaney. Dogger, as I said, if you really want to get rid of him and you think Darcy's going to affect him, Shrek's going to affect him too much, and he's at peak price point, then it could be a pod move that could really work in your favour. I may look at him dangerously this week. So talk about that in a sec. Flanders, I'm not trading. Obviously, Power no, Fife no, Cadman no, Darcy no. And you could look to get rid of Sexton somehow. If you got some DPP, whatever you want to do there, I'm not going to look to get rid of him yet. So for me, it comes down to getting rid of Brodie Grundy at this point, and possibly a Berry, possibly a Howes. But I'm keen at this point in time, and I know that my trades always change, just to make the one trade. And this sickens me, and it's most likely going to sicken you. It's embarrassing. But again, I go back to my preseason research. I jumped the gun. It's my fault. Damn, he looked terrible, though. But the last couple of weeks, watching this man go around, it's hurting me. It is hurting me, people. It's so painful, like I can't describe. And I'm going to use DPP for this, and this is where Jackson comes in, and again, why this is a dangerous move. Because what I'm looking to do is get Brody Grundy out, but at this point, the obvious move would be to go either Rowan or English and just go, right, let's just set up those two rucks for the year. You've got Gawn, who we're locking in. Just get one of the big two, whoever you're most keen on. Now, we saw what Rowan did, absolutely dominate that game. Again, we were expecting him to ground dimensions, the style of the game, and all the rest. But you can only score on what conditions you're presented with. So kudos to you, Rowan. If you look at the averages here, it's either him or English clearly. So Rowan is at 110. Oh, that's a 3 round. So 114.8, 124. So you're losing 10 points on average there. Will that stay the same? I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see on that. But the price difference 691 compared to 605. You're saving 85k. So that's definitely something that we'll need to take into account. When you are selecting your ruck, you got to ask yourself, what's your predicted average for English, Marshall, with the 90k that you saved this if you're looking to go this week? Then what are you doing next with it? You know, what are you actually using that 90k for? Is it going to be beneficial? Could it get you an extra 10 points on possibly the 10 points that you may lose here? There's a lot to take into account. Because I'm still not sure at the moment, and in my humble opinion, I think they've both got more cash to lose. I'm thinking of making a risky play here, and just for now, getting this man Dogger as my R2. Now, why is it risky? Because we know Shrek's coming back. Now, what happens if Shrek comes back next week or this week and Jacko gives us a 70? With that massive break even of 152, he's losing cash rapidly. And then we've got a big decision on our hands. All of a sudden, we're asking ourselves, and because this will spook people, I guarantee you, whatever the circumstances are, he scores I'm going to go under 80 to 85 with Darcy in the side. Lots of people are going to start to panic, probably me included as well, to be honest. Then the big question is, well, what are we doing now? Do we actually see him from this point in time? Don't look at the averages now because that's in the past. From this point in time, is he going to be a top 6 forward? Now, when you look at the other options, there's still a very high chance that may be the case. But as I said, he could be losing money quickly. And you may be saying to yourself, do you know what? I could actually jump onto, if you're using DPP, well, any other player that may be hot or that may be at a low break even, the time to jump on is now type thing. There's a lot that you could do with the Jackson type pick, particularly the fact that he's got DPP as well. So these are all questions that you really got to ask yourself. So for me, I'm putting myself in a very awkward position here, a very vulnerable position where I may be forced into, and you're never forced to do anything, but pretty much forced into trading him within the next 2 weeks. And I'll need cash in order to do that up to English or a Marshall, whichever way I decide to go, because I'm not going down to a Cherry. Kudos to Cherry, but I tell you what, kissed with that trip on Lockie Neal. And you can tell me it wasn't a trip and it was owner's bias. That was a trip every day of the week. Instead of losing points, he gets the tackle, free kick for goal, all the rest. I won't complain, but and I'm not going to Meek either. I can't go there. If Reeves comes back in, the pick is absolutely shot. I've taken too many risks. I'm just going to focus on bringing decent primos from now on, I think. So that's really how I'm feeling about that situation anyway. So Dogger stays in the ruck for now, I think. But I said I'm not going risky. That is a bit of a risk move. Now, currently I've got a forward that I need to trade in, but I'm really happy with my forward line at the moment. So, Reed, you're going to come on field, son, in the forward line. It makes me sick, man. I'm looking to do this in one trade, mind you. This makes me sick. Can I do it? Well, let's look at the averages. So I've got 587. I can't get any of the real big boys here. Zeret is absolutely on fire. Wouldn't I love to get him in? Rao, no. Certain blokes I just cannot afford at the moment. But if I keep scrolling down here, Actually, I'm going to go by 3-round average. This man makes me sick. I'm paying an extra 40k if I go there. Nick Martin. I was all over him in the preseason. We all were. I lost faith after 1 week. After watching him use the football like that, and it was a lot of it was actually the footy IQ. The fact I was thinking aggressive in my head, I just lost the face so early. And I said the roles there, but like footy IQ and decision making and use the football, I thought it was a bit of a pattern because that's sort of what happened in 3 out of his last 4 games. It's at the time after round 1. But after watching him last couple of weeks, as I said before, I was alluding to, it has hurt me so much. And he's looking so good at the moment. So a break even of 35. This is super embarrassing for me. I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, I'm not someone that shies away from making mistakes. And I never claim to be an expert. I made a mistake trading him out of my side, I think. I think I made a big mistake. Now, what I'm purchasing here is a defender who I think, well, in current form, without doubt, he's top 8, isn't he? Without doubt, he's top 8. So I'm buying him while he's still at an affordable price because the way they're feeding him the ball, Brad Scott loves the way he defends. It's just seagulling at its absolute finest, and I need to be a part of the action again. Sure to burn me in some way, shape, or form. It's always the way when these things happen, when you trade a player back in. But I think I really just need to swallow my pride. I'm not that proud or that arrogant that I'm going to say, well, no, starred him. I was all over him, then I got him out. Bug you, Nick Martin. I'm just not going to look to go there. I don't think it's the right way that you've got to play Supercoach. If you just got to put your hand up and go, look, I probably got this one wrong, jump the gun. And you've got to remember, if you're on someone pre-season, and certainly in the last couple of weeks, you could argue even the week before when he got his 90 plus, he's looked like the exact man you were hoping for and expecting for in a way by obviously starting him, then, maybe just jump back on. So that's probably the solo move that I'm looking to make this week, to be quite honest. I've used 3 boosts and I just want some trades left in the bank here. Interestingly enough, when I look back to last season at the same point in time, if you compare the fact that you've got an extra 4 trades this year, I'm still 1 trade up on where I was. So I'll take that as a positive, I suppose. And I also had an unused boost last year. So at least I'm using them, you could say. And I was ranked about 60k at this point in time. So the fact that I'm now, 3,000 something, I think in the top 2%, I think that's, it's really positive. I'm really looking at in a positive way. So, it hurts me. But I think that's the most likely move. Now, if I wasn't to do that, I would need cash because I'm not looking at another defender for now because I'm waiting on some DPP action. The move that I would look to make, so I'll get Nick Martin out. Trade. So I'll get Nick Martin out, and then we'll look back to the Rucks again. Sorry, this is going to be annoying. And I'll swap Jackson back. So 587, obviously need a lot more for the big boys. So the move would be, and it would have to be, is it Howes or Berry? Don't know if I really want Nick into the midfield this week. I could, but it's most likely going to be this. So we'll go Closey. So 102k. Like, how can you really not go there? And then obviously we've got our Rucks, and you've got English or Marshall. So if I go Marshall, I've got 102k left in the bank. It's actually pretty tempting now to look at it. Or else, obviously, if you don't go your Rowan, you go all the way up. And probably my preferred option, really, I just feel so much safer with Tim English. I don't know why, but I do. But 691k, you've got 16.5. So options are use 1 trade and go Grundy to Nick Martin, swallow my pride. Just get the man in because he's on fire and it's sickening. It is seagulling. It's sickening. Or do I just not muck around, not risk it with Dogger being a must trade out in a couple of weeks, keeping that DPP link for now anyway, and I can always get it back, and just get Tim English in. Just go bugger it. Look, he may come down in price, but you know he's pretty much going to be a top 3 ruck, top 2 arguably. Well, very, very high chance of that. Just get the man in. It may be the more sensible move. Again, I'm using 2 trades. I'm going early. Howes is playing this week, so he's a warm body. Closey, I think, certainly has a scoring potential over him. Remember, Howes to give us a nice 90-plus score. So we never know with these things. We can never go off just 1 week of data, but that's probably the other move I'd look to make. But at this stage, I think I'm just going to go with that Nick Martin move. I think that's just the safe. Oh, it's not. Is it safe? I really don't know if it's safe or not. So I'm trading it now and now. All right. So, yeah, Grundy's going to go. We'll do this now. Jackson will come in. Then this is the beauty of having DPP. It's always so handy. I'll still have that midfield DPP. Remember, after round 6 is when DPP comes into effect. And, yeah, geez, seriously. But it'll give him my 4th defender. We know he's getting that DPP status. And I'm also getting another premium in this week. And with the best 18, you just want to get that little bit of extra advantage, don't you? So that's pretty much how we're going to roll, I think. Don't need them as a loop because you've got Dacos there. Wilson will be there. Darcy. And I'll loop if needed. Beautiful. Okay, and that's given the fact that you're assuming 6. Oh, no, do you know what? Heaney's out anyway, so he'll come on anyway. I don't even make the decision. However, I do need to make a decision on my captaincy. So you've got Melbourne, Brisbane. So that's obviously Gorn versus Big O. And someone went big on, who we just played? Sherry. I need to say Sherry. Sherry went big on Big O. So Gorn could be an obvious move at the MCG. Oh, remember, this is a game where all the memes were made of me and the footage where the cause of the ladies' man Blackledge was born and created. It was that night. It was that night where Maxi went off tap, where I had him in my side, and he was a bit of a pod at the time when I didn't have English. Everyone else did. Went absolutely off chops and got Melbourne over the line. So very mixed feelings there. But do you know what? He could be a very obvious VC. Just get that one out of the way early on. Then you got, so I got no one from the Lions. If you got Lockie Neal, maybe, but we'll see what happens there. Definitely won't get subbed this week. Then you got Bond. So do you know what? That is super, super easy, isn't it? So you just go your Gorn VC into your Bond captain. Giants Saints. Okay, and there's probably my third one in Tom Green. Jack Steele. Look, I think that ground really suited him. The opposition suited him. He's not going to get it that easy against the Giants, that's for sure. Particularly with probably going head-to-head, really, with the Green Bull. Won't that be a great matchup to watch? So probably not interested in Steele. Not really interested in Green either, I don't think. Adelaide Carlton, no good for me. Digger Flanders, probably not. Hawks, no good. Butters versus Freo. Dogger is a pod, no. Luke Ryan, I may give you a 125 as a captain. Hoping more, but Sheasel probably doesn't have the ceiling for me as a captain, but it would be a really safe one. Geelong, no good for me. West Coast Richmond, no good as well. So do you know what? It may be boring, but I think the safe thing to do this week is just gone into the great Marcus Bontempelli. I think that's how we are going to roll this week. All right. So, oh, geez, I've gone too small there. All right. Now, what I wanted to just finish up on was to give a couple of league shout-outs. And I'm not going to go through everyone. I'll definitely go through everyone as the year progresses. But where are we? All right. So, we'll start off here with the DR Content Legends. Now, I don't know how far up you can actually see there because I can't see my screen. Oh, yeah, you can see perfectly. All right, so currently league ranking 12 out of 13,599. So congrats, peeps. That is absolutely phenomenal. We're going for the number one spot this year, but quick shout out. We've got, and talk about a great list here. The old Abs Magic, JB, Damon from Supercoach Edge. I'll tell you what, Damo from Footy Mailbag killing it this year. You got Scobes there, my man Janeth, and I tell you what, just with Janeth, I tell you, this isn't ranked by total points. Sorry, I'm gonna go by total points. So yeah, Abs, Damo, JB, Damon, Janeth has me by 2 points, 8473. 8471. So it's like, you kidding me? Still top of the pod, but well done, brother. Scobes, I mentioned, you got the great George there, JD, SDS, my man Spills, Joshy Boy, Horses for Courses, Mick from Insights, the great Swizz, Frio, Tragic Dan, Rossum Third Man Up, Big Joe, Medium Joe, Joe that I love from Centre Bounce, got Pistol from Dr. Supercoach, Vern Supercoach there, and also Clarkey from ex Jock Reynolds, and our Footy Mailbag Falcon podcast, doing everything this year is Clarkey. So shout out to all you legends. That league is absolutely on fire. Now the other one here, we've got two more. Podmasters. Is it Podmasters overall? I think it might be Podmasters overall. No, that's not it. Sorry. I'm sure it's a Podmasters. Well, we got Spills Premier there. What's that? I think so. That's going pretty well. 19. So there we go. 19 in the top 20. Spills' Premier. This is another one here. The Godfather Legends. So rank 25 as well. So Abs obviously set that one up. So look at this. You got Selby there. Al from the Herald Sun. Very familiar faces here also. Well done, Supercoach Legends. There is one. There is certainly one. Is it Podmasters? AFL Podmasters, it must be. There we go. The AFL Podmasters. So shout out to all the legends here. Where are we? Number five overall. So they're all content creators in this league. I played, who was it? Big J this week. Shout out to your legend from the Centre Bounce. Just got over you, mate. I got 6 down out of 16 leagues. So pretty wrapped with that. But just wanted to give a shout out to those leagues. And very quickly, we're going to look at let's go top 10. I'm 13th at the moment in the DR Open 100 League. So who have we got at the moment? We have Vicstar number 1 with an overall rank of 811. Well done, mate. We got Damo number 2, just outside the top 1K. Well done, mate. Cole Ducati, Cole at number 3. Well done, mate. H, well done, son. Now, you thought you have a terrible start to the year. H, absolutely killing it, brother. So well done here. Mr. Caminiti, Anthony Caminiti, Cammers Hammers. Looking all right, getting a game at the moment, Cammers. So shout out to you, legend, if you're watching. I love every great thing that you do on field, my man. So, and shout out to your Supercoach team as well. 6 in there at the moment. So, looking to make the cash, very likely at this point, mate. Ismail Kormaloya went a little bit down this week, but you'll bounce back, mate. Well done there at 7. The big Lebowski with Glenn. Well done there, mate. The Jokers with Steve, 8508. Well done, buddy. And number 10, we have Joseph there with Joey Jojo. So, well done, guys. Hey, look. Doesn't matter if you are number 65 in the rankings at the moment. Everyone still has the chance to take out some cash. And I suppose the last bit of advice I'll give at the end of the day is that it doesn't matter where you're ranked at the moment. It's a bit of a cliche, but it's a big season, a very long season. It's marathon, not a sprint. So wherever you are at the moment, well done. Good luck. All the best with your trades this week. I'll be back on the Supercoach Swordplay potty with Spills and a very special guest. And then obviously we've got the Supercoach stock market video. Very relevant this week. Some massive decisions up our sleeve, possibly some boost-worthy options. So check that out a little bit later on in the week. And apart from that, guys, hope you have a good one. And I'll see you soon in the next one. Cheers, bye.